Hi y'all. For those who don't know, I'm Keely Madison. I was a member of the Chateau since 2016. I have a lot to say. It's taken me a minute to get here to produce this video and to talk to not just to talk to y'all. I've been trying to talk to y'all. A lot of you know that through Messenger and through text and stuff like that. This has been a lot. This has been a lot. I have a lot of notes. I do believe that my videos will be probably at least 2 to 3 long. I am not going to present everything in this video. I'm literally just going to kind of tell a short story. My next video will contain screenshots. I guess I'm very fortunate to say that I don't have exactly the same story as everybody else. Well, not that everybody's stories are the same. Don't get me wrong. Mine's just really different. Mine's a lot more business oriented, a lot more personal, friendship and creation wise. And that's kind of where I'll start that one. I am trying to make this video one full video. I'm not trying to do a lot of editing. So that way you guys know that this is my story. This is what I have to say. So when I moved to Colorado, it was in early 2016, right in January in 2016. I decided to change my life completely, moved to Denver, and I didn't know anybody, right? I wanted to build something here, something different, and man, did it happen. It happened so fast. It was actually really amazing. Within just 3 months of moving here, I was pretty much accepted into the chateau. I was performing at some of the biggest venues as a go-go dancer and burlesque dancer and performer. I was modeling with more girls than I had ever met in my life compared to the East Coast. The people here were beautiful. Everybody was ready. Everybody is so ready to learn something, to be something, to do something, to make something. It's a melting pot of beauty and creation, that's for sure, out here in Colorado. So on that note, in Colorado, the chateau was one of the first organizations and people that I was around with such a large BDSM and kink environment. They really taught us pretty quickly that kittens were submissive, and that was something I learned very fast. And I'm a very dominant woman for the most part in my life. I was very excited to learn my submissive side. I was also immediately introduced into the chateau kind of as, I would say, an it girl. I was what she was looking for. I was what Izzy was looking for. I wasn't really sure of my own space at the time. And I decided that this seemed exciting. I also am very business oriented, huge entrepreneur. So I saw so much potential in this business, not only the business, but the community and the organization and what it was doing for others. I'd never seen so many beautiful women in my life. Like, I mean, beauty inside, not just out, like inside. So many people so ready to learn, so ready to create. And man, I was fueled by it. I just thought it was so exciting. I thought that Izzy was exciting. I thought the chateau was exciting. I thought Daniel was exciting. I thought kink was exciting. I thought kittens were exciting. I thought it was so cool to have a gent around. A man who was a gentleman. While I was in lingerie, he'd be in a suit. And usually, even if they're not mine, but if I needed something as a kitten, I could ask for it. As a submissive kitten on the ground in lingerie with a pile of other kittens, I could ask for something and get it, right? So yeah, I was excited to learn my submissive space. I was so excited to be around a bunch of other women too, who were being well taken care of as submissive, beautiful women in lingerie, and it was a sexual environment. Absolutely it was. 130% it was. It was super sexual environment, which I always had some like tips about in a way. I was so passionate about where we were and the space we were able to sit in that I started to ignore the red flags. And I'll tell you, the red flags were pretty immediate. Each time I walked into a house or an event, there were always girls on the ground. There were always men above them, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. If you're playing a role or doing a scene or whatever, that's okay. At the actual chateau house and with the actual organization, specifically that Daniel and his friends ran. I will not name names specifically except for Jeff Lawson. Do that one out. So immediately I started to read the red flags. I decided consciously to ignore them. The reason I consciously decided to ignore them was because I thought that this was a part of kink. I thought that this was a part of pet play. I thought this was a part of BDSM. I thought it was a part of my growth and my confusion on my own sexuality and space. Now, I was wrong. The red flags were red flags from the beginning. As much as Izzy wanted to tell people that this was a woman-owned organization, it was not. It was ran, owned, controlled, and completely manipulated by men. Now, I will tell you, I do believe in my heart that she is one of these people. I don't think that she has been manipulated as much as people are making it out to seem. I have spent quite a few nights with her, quite some time with her, and at this point, about 5 years. And I will tell you that she does have a brain. She's not a fucking idiot. That's for power. Every single woman in the room was powerful or had the potential to be just as powerful as they felt like they could be. Now, the unfortunate part that I noticed pretty quickly, especially when it comes to the BDSM lifestyle, there wasn't a lot of consent involved in this house. Even though they talked about it, there wasn't a lot of consent. As a kitten, and as a chateau kitten, you were supposed to be comfortable. You were supposed to be in the basement by 10 p.m. tied up or bent over or on your knees or something. Now, that's a real statement. And I'm not taking that one back either. No, it was not a brothel. No, we were not sold. No, none of that quite happened. However, I will tell you, that atmosphere was normal. And not only was it normal, but to be a popular mean girl, you had to be down there in that basement. Some way, shape, or form. You had to be down there. Oh, and when I say some way, shape, or form, I was told multiple times that as a woman, and especially as a kitten, but as a woman, I was not allowed or encouraged to do switch play in that house. So I always basically had to be a bottom or had to be in that space. One of the most messed up part is that a lot of girls felt that they could come to me consistently. Like from my first time ever at a chateau event, I had girls coming up to me, asking me for advice and everything. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out too, you know. It only really took me about a year to figure it out. Whatever it was, I'm still figuring it out for the record, but that part of it. Yeah. So as far as events go, within just a couple of months, I was invited to the Vampire Ball in Denver. I was invited to a Las Vegas Chateau Swinger event, which was also hosted by another company, which I will not name because they do not have anything to do with what happened as far as the chateau goes and as far as Izzy goes. After that, I was also invited to Burning Man, which was a whole nother experience. And as much as Burleigh, which is the Burning Man camp, will tell you that they are not affiliated with the chateau, they completely are. It's a complete slave camp, and it needs to be stopped. So the very first vampire ball I was at, I definitely noticed immediately that there were issues. During this event, Izzy had a stalker of some sort, which honestly happened at pretty much every event. And this is coming from somebody who was not only performing, but hosting and managing majority of the chateau events from the first 3 months that I was involved until the last month. During the Vampire Ball, my first event with Chateau, I was just go-go dancing. I was not a full Chateau kitten. This was the very first event ever that I met Izzy at. She adored me from the first moment. Which also just shows the mean girl point of this entire tale, of everybody's tale. If you don't wear pink, you can't sit with us on Wednesdays kind of thing. So I didn't mean to fit in, but I did. I fit into her mold, and I was excited. I didn't really quite realize the mold that I was fitting into, but I was excited. After this event, after the Vampire Ball, I was already invited within a few days to perform at next year's Vampire Ball. So I was all about it, right? Sorry. I really, really do wish that the business had worked out better. And I also do hope the best for her. But anyway, I went to Las Vegas with the Chateau. I'd hardly traveled. This was so new for me. I went out there with mostly a group of females, which was wonderful. However, it was painful. I wanted to have a beautiful experience. And everybody else did as well. The experience was not very beautiful. She, within 3 days, had her Davi vanity or whatever it is. All I know is I remember every single moment of this incident happening. Every single moment. From the time she left, to the time I heard bad things, to the time she came running back into the hotel after her parking garage experience, to the time that I saw him at the party later that evening. This is when I decided to never, ever, ever love her. I knew at that moment it wasn't about us. I made some awareness that I knew that this man who had tried to essay her in a parking garage, that whole story is true. From what I know, from my experience being there, that story is true. Now, her sympathy, her care, her sorry, which, mind you, was never quite there, if you noticed in that video, wasn't accurate. She never cared. Because I'm going to jump to the next story right after this one. Right after the Las Vegas experience, and right after that guy who had multiple cases, including the parking garage that she had just ran from. And I don't know if you realize how big of a princess that girl is, but to see her run. So like I said, directly after that, pretty much directly, I mean just months afterwards, she was involved with this vampire, right? If you'll realize, she's got a thing with people with not real names. Should have been my second red flag. Maybe my third. Probably my third. Okay, sorry. From what I know, same thing with Davi. Both of them already had cases upon them when she started to date them. Not only when she started to date them, but when she started to fill rooms of women. Not only women, but submissive women in lingerie. I'm sorry. I know that I'm not the best picker, but you've got a job to do, lady. You probably should have done it. You want to be called a queen? You should have acted like one. A queen protects her kingdom. So, Sebastian was one that, through my entire first year, was there. In 3 years, Izzy, you brought at least 5 men into parties. Not only with essay cases, but warnings from many people of the community. You weren't even in love with these people. You were fascinated. Just how you were with the kittens. So on Sebastian's note, I can't really say too much, honestly. I watched a lot of it happen. I was there for her when she claimed that he tried to propose to her with a ring that he didn't get her. Go ahead and follow up a last story for that one. She also claimed that he tried to impregnate her and do this and that, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, one person's dream is another person's nightmare. Oh, boy. She completely put people in danger constantly. Christopher had a lot of issues with a lot of people. She wanted somebody to want her. Not somebody. She wanted the world to want her. That woman's narcissism runs so freaking deep. It is... She needs help, honestly. Like, from the bottom of my heart, please take care of her. Somebody genuine, take care of her. But Christopher was a shit show. She allowed him to kidnap her. He was warned multiple times. The next year, I'm going to say it was 2018 at this point, to Burning Man. We had more kittens at this burn than we had ever had. She was warned to not let this man come. First of all, we don't even know how he got a ticket to Burning Man. It's not that easy to get a ticket to Burning Man, first of all. So, I don't know how he got a ticket, how he ended up there. I'm going to go with blaming it on her. Sorry, no sympathy. But so he ends up at our camp. There are multiple women at this camp who do not want him there. Not only are we, like, vulnerable and submissive, we're in the middle of the desert. Lacking nutrients, working our butts off, building a camp, not getting paid, and then some, right? You should create a healthy atmosphere for your family and your community and your business. Christopher arrived at Burning Man, sending multiple people into complete chaos because we were promised that he was not going to be there. He was a full-on SA offender at that point. He should not be around anybody. Now, he still was there. And the best part about this story, and the worst part about this story, is that after multiple men confronted him, thank God for them, like I said, we'll provide screenshots of any sort of messages I can do to prove these stories. And I have proof of every story I am saying. So she ended up leaving with Christopher during this Burning Man, which says a lot right then and there. Like, hello, like, you're in the middle of the desert, and that with your family, that a community and a home that you are building in the middle of the desert, and that's where you choose to go. So she ran off with him, right? That happened. And that was my last time camping with Burleigh, and my last time camping with the chateau as well at Burning Man. Right after the Christopher experience was when my tolerance was getting very low with the chateau when it comes to not only my being but other people's and of safety. It was getting to the point where the red flags were becoming like a quilt. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't believe in her anymore. Before I go into the next case is when I want to bring up some awareness of the fact that I was doing a lot of work, and I was working very hard, and a lot of people were very inspired by the chateau. A lot of people were very inspired by kitten play, and I got 3 investors. 2 of them I have been in contact with and are willing to state their case for me. I had 3 investors. I sat Izzy down, and I sat Daniel down, and I offered them $10,000 to $20,000 to keep her as the face of the chateau, but take over the business. Now, I felt like that was respectful. The business was not being run well. Nobody was getting paid per contract, our contracts say we should be getting paid. Now, I got paid for a few performances. Other girls got paid per performances. And you want to know why they got paid per performances? Because we made sure that they did. Yeah. I offered her a lot of money. coming from a business standpoint, an entrepreneur standpoint, a respectful standpoint, an excited standpoint, and then some. Like, I still believed in the business, and I knew that she wasn't doing a good job. I knew around this time, after about 2 years in, that this business was being ran to basically live other people's fantasies. Now, that would sound wonderful if people were getting paid and if people were actually paying, if there was actually responsibility and accountability and determination and more involved. There wasn't. This organization was created so that two people could live out their really crappy psychotic fantasies. The definition of a psychopath is somebody who, like, basically thinks and feels without emotion. There's no empathy there. They are very creative usually, but there's no true empathy. I am not a licensed professional on this note, for the record. According to some, I'm just a chateau kitten. I've been told by quite a few professionals, just observing these people, that they both need help. And I do believe this. After these three men, after Burning Man, after multiple Burning Mans, after multiple chateau events, after multiple times traveling with the chateau, there is one human that was around for the entire thing, other than Izzy and Daniel. His name is Jeff. So, Jeff was just as bad as them, for the record. Just as bad. They enabled him. He would have never gotten where he gotten if it hadn't been for them. In my next video, I will show some of Jeff's photography work. And I will let you know that the chateau considered itself to be, like, of high standards. This photography, these photo shoots, were that of basically like a high school teenagers, or what I call in my business a GWC. Now, if you don't know what a GWC is, I'll let you know in the next video. The main photographer of the chateau, Izzy's wingman, Izzy's everything, was a GWC. Not only was he a GWC, he was a creep, he was a perv, and he was more. Now, from the very first ever event, I was attempted to be tied up by this guy. I watched him not only tie up multiple women, touch multiple women without knowing how to actually spank, tie up, or tell them what to do. And when it comes to BDSM and kink culture, there is a way to do things. Now, if you're going to break that way to do things, that is a communication that you have with your partner or your scene buddy, wherever you are. Jeff was really, really, really good at loving new kittens. And this was something that I noticed very, very quickly. I never once let him love me because I didn't put up with that. Now, I still believed in the guy. I'll tell you that. I actually did believe in him. I actually did let him flog me a couple times. But the multiple times that I let him flog me, I actually face-to-face to him and said, this is for me. Because I need this. This is my therapy. This is not for you. And he did respect that. For the most part. Everyone's gonna, not everybody, sorry. People are gonna try things here and there. Nonverbal communication is still spoken. When somebody tells you yes or no, you listen to that yes or no. You do not wait for things to open up for you. Especially when you're on top. When you are at top. When you are dominating. When you are in charge. When you are teaching. Be respectful. Because if you are respectful, especially, the whole world might open up for you afterwards. Do not continuously use and abuse your positions. So, like I said, I have a switch. Yeah, Jeff was an issue. He was an issue consistently. In 2019, which I will share kind of a gross amount of screenshots in my next video. In 2019, I approached Izzy and Daniel and Jeff because I had had multiple lovely women come to me and tell me about how Jeff Lawson was manipulating them, abusing them, taking them out for dates without telling them exactly what was going on. And mind you, as a kitten, we love to dress up. We love to sit in lingerie. And we love to be taken care of. However, I really do believe that the chateau created more feral kittens than domesticated, if you know what I mean. So a lot of these girls realized very quickly when they were being taken out to dinner that there was a expectation there. Not only was there an expectation, but there was a threat. So not only were these girls being taken out by Jeff, they were being promised chateau places. They were being promised the front of photo shoots. They were also being promised nude chateau photo shoots, which, mind you, if you did a little research, the chateau does not do nudes. It is supposed to be an elegant women's lingerie magazine lifestyle for... Wait, what was that? Oh, wait, what was it for again, Izzy? Oh, for women. This is where it gets a little hard for me. So, like I said, no screenshots in this one. This is all just me right now. So in the next video, I will be providing screenshots, whether anybody likes it or not. That's what's happening. I've already gotten legal advice. I'm not too worried about anything. So don't worry. My heart, like, this organization grew, this community grew and developed inside of me so much, in so many ways. I am so thankful for the women I met. I'm so thankful for my journey. I'm so thankful learning submissive. I'm so thankful learning a lot that I learned. But the hardest part is the fact that in 2019, I had messages from 5 different girls. That's 10. 5 different girls. And they all asked me for advice. And they all not only asked me for advice, but they all asked me to speak out for them. So I sat Jeff down and I said, Jeff, you are violating a lot of these women. It's time to stop. And I looked at him and I put my big girl pants on and I said, this is your last warning. About a few days go by and he does it again. And he also asked me 30 times, who said this? Who said this? Who said this? Who said this? It doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter at this point is the thing. So about a week goes by, nothing changes. Things actually continuously get worse. He starts harassing girls that he was talking to because of all this. So I sit the 3 of them down, right? And I was like, all right, guys, it's time to make a change. Whatever. Fuck that shit. Okay. So, yeah. Time to make a change, right? That year was my last year with the chateau. That month was my last month with the chateau. Pretty much after I sat the 3 of them down for that meeting, I was very, very slowly shown the door. It wasn't made public. Nobody told me directly. But the fact of the matter is, I was very quickly and slowly, nonchalantly shown the door. I was the lead of every performance I was managing and putting together most of the photo shoots. I did not run the website. There were a few other things I did not do. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty I didn't do. But the things I did do were out there and in your face. If you'll notice, by 2019, I was never headlining any event after that. Like I said, nonchalantly shown the door. Sorry. So not only did no awareness was brought to the situation, but on top of that, I was silently kind of pushed out of the organization. It really hurt me that the girls that came to me all stayed in the chateau. Every girl except for one stayed in the chateau for at least another year. And honestly, I will say multiple of them stayed up until this most recent awareness, I guess. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because I really cared about not only the chateau, I did care about Izzy, and I actually related with Daniel on a lot of business and a few other aspects. I also really, really, really felt proud and trusted that these girls came to me, and then they all stayed. And like I said, I was never completely shown the door, but I was uninvited to pretty much everything, like nonchalantly. Because if there was any sort of public announcement of me leaving right after that, Izzy knew for a fact it would have messed up her, not only her business, her credentials, and her lifestyle and wingman. I don't ever really think she cared about her business. Sorry. So, on that note, on the other note, I do think that I'm done with this video now. I think I've said all I can say for this moment. I have a lot more to say. I have a lot more to show and prove. However, this is a little bit more just my story. My next video is going to include a lot of screenshots from a lot of girls and lovely ladies and even gentlemen. I got some gentlemen up in there too that trusted me. And for the record, these tales are not about Izzy and her partners either. They go deeper. She had stalkers consistently that she enabled, women and men. I have 2 women's stories, and I think I've got about 6 men's stories. All valid, all real, and all there. Yeah. I think that's it for right now. I'm sorry if anybody was expecting more. I'm sorry it's taken me this long. Thank you so much for trusting me. I have plenty more to share. I just really want to do it correctly. I'm a creative writing person, so I need to make sure I tell this tale right. And this is probably my most rambly video I'll make. So, give me some time. Oh, man. I'm really sorry it took me this long, but at the same time, I have way more going on in my life than I ever have. And I have no plans on letting this go without these messages and without promoting the other ones and creating a change in all of them. So, thank you.